Faye. Godwoken. Dallas told me you're divine. Well,
The divine you thought dead lords over the chamber for...
What a twist.
Lucian frowns at Friedemann, then bestows a benevolent smile.
I underestimated you, Godwoken.
respect.
Lucian's gaze rests upon you, and go...
Lucian, we should tell him the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our
Dallas nods. Then, reach a skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the...
I am eternal.
Aren't they just full of surprises?
Fear not, Godwoken. Dallas is on the side of all that is good.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to long ago. The scholar Fane discovered that the veil between...
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the Seven to reach for this power, but they didn't listen.
With the source they stole from the Veil, the Seven created the races so they would have worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect souls.
Our souls are nothing but vats for
The Seven made a mistake. By taking...
the Seven's lust for power let in the void. When we are done, there shall be no more source in the world. Rivellon will be fine.
My people cannot be allowed to return from the void. They are...
There is more, but she hesitates.
I was a child when the God King tore my family apart. I was purged of source and left to rot in a... It was hell. A hell I suffered for this. The cruel joke of it all is that the same tomb that housed my tortured body is what sheltered me from Fane. Yes, you are my
Dallas gives you a steady look, cool and
Your child rotted away in a tomb, just like you, father. Look at us! We are all that... But now I have revenge. Revenge on the Seven and the God King.
The Hammer's voice falters at a...
Did you even look for me?
Dallas, control yourself. Our purpose transcends your...
Yes.
Dallas's reasons weren't mine to question. All that ever mattered to me was peace. Peace for Rivellon. Peace for me, whatever the means.
You wish to... Your actions led to this moment, and all... You have but one path to atonement. And Rivellon, she sacrificed herself for the... She didn't do it willingly, mind you. Curiosity led her. And then I took her place. Face rippers are such marvels, aren't they? It didn't take long to realize that Lucian was the key to my vent...
While Dallas sought the Aetheran.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
One more word from you, and I shall use the leash.
I had to hide from the gods. So I had the walls of this crypt equipped. As divine, I was created, empowered to stop the void.
Yes, in a sense. When the death fog was unleashed, many elves died. With fewer elves to worship him, Teosendilius weakened. This gave the God King his first real foothold back in the world. To strengthen himself, he sent his Voidwoken. The
Voidwoken. Disgusting things. You see, blaming the source...
The Aetheran now contains almost all...
The void shall be banished, and I... A false divide.
The plan is almost complete.
We have made so many sacrifices, Godwoken. All of us.
Decide. Be the true hero and give up your source, or be forced to submit.
There is no other way. We only lack yours.
As I say, one last sacrifice is required. Yours.
Maggot. I am Braccus Rex. I am the Source King.
With a flick of her wrist, Dallas sends a jolt through Braccus'...
Don't worry, he's well under control. He's made a fine servant. Isn't that right, ingrate? I used him to find...
Dallas punctuates her statement with another wrist flip. Braccus shudders, but his lips remain curled in a self-satisfied grimace.
Call me what you like. I'm not afraid of being the villain to your supposed hero. I'm not nice. I'm good. You
The world shall not know this. I shall return from the grave, a divine.
Then let us proceed. Show some responsibility, Father!
You'll be a hero. Everyone will know of the sacrifice you'll make. Your name will be synonymous with the survival of Rivellon. Good.
Yes, very good.
She raises what looks like a leash. A chuckle emerges from beneath Vredeman's hood. The chuckle becomes a guffaw, booming.
Oh, Dal.
How? What? The leash is...
A bright observation from a bilious imbecile. You know people often become sloppy when they're close to achieving their dream. You left the leashing wand next to me, you stupid maggot. So accustomed had you...
Kill him!
Do shut up, you tedious buffoon. And don't look so surprised. As if I would allow a bone bag to enslave me. Yes, I am the one true king of the... Or did you really think I'd play slavishly along with your ridiculous... It was only about the power of...
Kill him now!
Too late, you mouldering, blight-stained pigs. Grant me power, my ally. God King, I call on you! The God King hears my call. He sends a companion. Come to your father, my lord. Come to the Source King.
perhaps even for good.
The future of all that is.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aetheran lies in front of you. Or to sacrifice. What you do next, what shall you do with divinity?
And so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. Dallas the Hammer, the secret eternal, purged the Godwoken and used the Source to close the veil to the void. The world was saved. Statues in memory of the Godwoken who sacrificed their Source were erected all across Rivellon. They would never be forgotten. The half-demon Malady took pity on the soulless, God-woken silent monks and brought them to the Hall of Echoes. There, from the scraps of their souls that remained, she restored them to life. Sorcerers no more, they lived out the rest of their lives, freed of the burden of being the God-woken, freed from the weight of the world. As for me, the God-woken sacrifice severed the link that bound the Sworn to the God King, and I was finally free. To atone for my sins, I spent the rest of my days taking care of the sick and elderly, telling the story of the Godwoken, that the world may never forget the greatest heroes Rivellon had ever seen.
Malady stands tall and proud. Sunlight.
Ah, there you are. More than a silent monstrosity, less than a god. Where did I go wrong? Ugh. I'd been counting on sacrificing my health and happiness for a future god, you know. Not a silent monk. Never mind. I'll find another way.
She fingers the mask covering her face. For a moment, it seems as though she's about to remove it. But instead, she places a hand on your shoulder.
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way. Sacrificed much.
She looks you up and down.
I guess this will have to take a moment, why don't you? Relax, enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same. Oh, I don't know, around and about. Treat myself to perhaps our paths will cross it until we find out.
I always thought that those who resorted to self-sacrifice were lacking in imagination. But I must admit, that was rather noble of you. A world without source is one that will need individuals of wit and intellect. A sharp mind is the only... I believe I shall enjoy this new world. That is the question, isn't it? No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portals to their realm. And once I've uncovered...
A slight grin crosses the spirit's face. Whether her smile is sincere... Losa looks at you intently, as though... Ifan's spirit stares at you. He gives no sign of seeing you. Ifan's eyes flicker rapidly. He whispers the phrase over and over, and suddenly you seem to hear. Then, before your eyes, his spirit dissolves into the sound that you could hear. For now, no sound. The squirrel looks up at you and pats your leg reassuringly. He gives you a nervous thumbs up. Beast spirit doesn't acknowledge you as you approach.
Here the wild beast just sails on the ocean. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. Off on the yawn, you hear that cupboard can't hide you, nor can your berth. His daggers don't care about the gold that you're worth. He'll bury your bones neath a mountain of earth. He's docked in the bay and coming your way.
He pauses, then continues to hum, all the while working his ghostly whiskers.
It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be. I will always be an ally to those that carry swords. I am at the ready.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, and with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and at last, the world was at peace. The ancient Lizard Empire opened its gates. The houses disbanded, and the Empire adopted a pluralist quasi-democracy. Anyone could vote for whoever they pleased, as long as the House of Shadows approved. Justinia returns to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom prospered, until 2 years later, a jealous lover stabbed her in the heart with a mutton fork. Lucian made amends to the elves. He gave them lands and vast riches from the coffers of the old divine order. But the elves never forgave him. They would not trust humans again. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoubt of the Source King Braccus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a centre of industry, trade, and transport. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors. With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. She founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering the last of the undead shelter from fortune hunters, novelty seekers, and ghouls. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end, so he opened a museum of demonic artifacts. He made a fortune. With Lucian in power, Sahala took the elves away from the world. They grew strong once more amidst the trees of the regrown home forest. Some say her plans for revenge will bring about the end of days. Some say only Tova, her mother, holds her back. Lucian returned as divine, united the races, and became Lord Emperor of all Rivellon. Only Dallis knew that he was entirely powerless. Dallis and you. The Eternal, now known as Dallis, was a secret advisor to Lucian and to his successors. For eons she would walk in the world, and would outlive the peoples and all, and wander alone amongst the dying stars. And then there was you. In a world of peace, you could live forever. Your future was yours to decide. But you were a sorcerer no more. Did you accept your new status with gratitude, or did you rebel? Only you know the truth, you and one other. But of him you are free. The God King no longer calls your name. He no longer whispers your shame. Only you know if you atone for your sins.